Hello and welcome to Maximum Power Up video. I'm Paul. Today I'm just going to have a quick look at a couple of pickups, but also discuss the latest issue of SuperPlay magazine that came free this month with Retro Gamer magazine. Something I thought would never ever happen, but yeah, totally took me by surprise. Obviously there's been a lot of buzz on Facebook and Twitter and other gaming websites, with bringing SuperPlay back, because as many people know, I'm a massive fan of the magazine, and there's a lot of people we speak to on Twitter and Facebook who are big fans themselves, because it was such an iconic magazine back in the day, and for future publishing to do a one-off special, and we do say it is a one-off special, which is fine. With me, I feel like it sort of has come at the right time, but we'll get onto that in a few minutes. Now, two things I have just picked up. One of them was a magazine, because again, I'm a big fan of getting the issue ones of the final issues of magazines. I said on here many times. What I've got here is issue 1 of N-Force. This was done by Europress magazines back in 1992. Now, N-Force covered the NES, Game Boy and Super Nintendo, so this is really roughly around the launch of the Super Nintendo in the UK. I'm not really going to walk through this just now because there's a good chance to probably do a full video on it. You've got the artwork there done by Ollie Frey. He's done a lot of iconic covers, things like Zap and Crash, stuff like that, via newsfield type magazines. Now, like I said, this one costs like about, including postage, £2. Where, again, it's started to happen a few times. The centre page is missing. I don't know what it was, if it was a poster. I can't see anything listed at the moment. It's got a bit of a comic-y type feel to this. Like I said, I'm not really going to go into it too much because there's a good chance that we'll have a look through it. N-Force didn't really last for that long. It did become Snes Force, a magazine that again itself only lasted 10 issues before Europress folded. Like I said so many times, so many magazines disappeared off the newsstands in those mid-90s type thing. But yeah, we'll have a proper look through that. I mean, that first issue here, when it first came out, was only 99p. Something that Europress did a lot of with things like Super Action and a lot of other titles, stuff like GB Action as well, which lasted much longer than some other of their titles. But it was never really a good sign when magazines started going out at 99p. After being going for a while, usually sort of death toll, as to put it. Now, next up is something that I'm really happy I've got. It has cost me quite a bit of money, but I have now got R-Type 3 on Super Nintendo. Now, as you can see, there is a bit of damage to the cover there, but to get this boxed is really difficult. It's like one of the harder games to get off the SuperPlay Top 100, leaving only one last game to get, Secret of More, which, fingers crossed, should be here within the next week. I'm going to give a name check to someone who's helping me out with that last game once I've got it in the collection, and then that'll be it, the whole journey over God knows how many years. But anyway, I'll just talk about R-Type 3 for a moment. I've just given this a quick blast because I've never played it before. Now, Alex Crowley, aka Nintendo Arcade, that we've had on the show, he chose this one of his favourite games. He absolutely loves it. I'm quite bad at it. I've got about 150,000, and the thing is with shoot 'em ups, and this is something I find difficult, and it's been mentioned before, when you sort of lose a life, you lose all your power-ups, so you're so underpowered, and this is on level 1, so it's something that I probably will give a proper go, because I remember having the first R-Type on my Atari ST and spending quite a lot of time on that. So with R-Type 3, the box, apart from that bit there, is in really good condition. It's quite sturdy. It's not got a manual, unfortunately, and there are a couple of new games in the top 100 which I've not got manuals for, but I just want to get this list completed So there we are, we've got the cart there as well. So really happy to mark this one off, because a lot of the time when you see it on eBay, it was, I think the cheapest one was like £150, and again this was roughly in the same condition. I paid quite a bit less than that really. Also, you can get it on Japanese, but even the Japanese one, costs you like £70-80, and then you've also got the risk of the customs charges and stuff like that. Because one guy who was selling it the other week, he says he won't put gift or value as $1 or anything like that, because he didn't want to sort of like dupe anyone really. So yeah, I've gone for that, and it's come from Southern Retro Games up in York. Again, I've mentioned Lee's store quite a few times, mentioned him on the show as well when we've done podcast recording. So a massive thank you to Lee, doing me a really good deal on that, because you've just helped me out a lot. The other one was that I got last week was, again, thank you to Will Overton, do me Pokemoki Kiki cart only. He didn't have one himself box, so for him to give this a part of his collection, I'm very grateful for. So yeah, he did that for a really good price for me. So I think quite a few people wanted to see me complete this SuperPlay Top 100, so I think he'll get in a bit of, good luck and everything. But yeah, there'll be more on that once I get that last game, that Secret Evermore. I'll probably do a video, I will do a video talking about the whole journey, and then probably videos looking at gameplay and stuff. However, the main thing is this. So, SuperPlay issue 48. I was lucky enough to get an issue of this sent to me, but for a few days earlier. I got it last Saturday, came through the post, speaking to someone over at Future, and which actually blows my mind, and they just asked if I'd be interested in getting an advanced copy of it, and to give me thoughts, and they said they're a fan of the podcast, which was a massive wow moment, because they'd heard the SuperPlay episode that we did last year, so it's almost a year now. It's a year next week since we put that episode out, which is still my favourite episode. It took a lot of work to put that together, to get so many interviews and everything like that, and then edit it all together. So when you look at it, you've got that show last year, and many conversations with Will Overton, just saying, could you imagine if it came back? Imagine this, or imagine one other magazine a bit more like it, and you're thinking, well, how would it happen? So the thinking behind this is it's 25 years since issue 1 came out, which obviously is about 2/3 of my lifetime. Also, you got the Snes Mini out in just a few weeks. What is it, the 8th today? So yeah, 3 weeks today, that's all, and the Snes Mini will be in my hands after pre-ordering for in-game, and luckily they've not gone under after being bought by Mike Ashley. Anyway, so back on SuperPlay. So the run up to this, I'd read something on Facebook that someone was saying, "Oh, SuperPlay's meant to be coming back, isn't it?" And it was all very hush hush. And then, like, Will started putting up a couple of nice little pictures, just going, "Oh, imagine this," and people started thinking, "Oh, is it a cover that was, unreleased?" Like, why now all of a sudden? And then everything started coming together. Now, Retro Gamer magazine, again now owned by Future, a bit back, someone actually wrote into Retro Gamer saying, "Now you're owned by Future, will you be using Future Publishing's vaults?" And you're thinking, well, that's a really good idea, So, like, from my point of view, I'd love this to be really, really popular. And going off people's comments in the last few days, it has been really popular. So who knows? Maybe you'll get, like I say, Power One or something like that, and going through all these sort of classic magazines. But with SuperPlay, they had this little hint last month saying the 90s magazine returns. Not giving too much away, but then, the pictures that Will's put out was starting to lead that way. And then the official announcement came out last Friday, and then obviously I had the email saying your magazines are on the way. Amazing. So to get this package from Future Publishing, like with my name and address on, I was like, ooh, dead giddy and everything, knowing what was in it. And then, yeah, I put up a couple of pictures a couple of days ago because I needed the go ahead to make sure I wasn't just doing anything wrong by just, putting them up straight away. And yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. Now, straight away, I'm not going to go through every single page here. I'm only just going to go through just one or two little things and just give me thoughts. So straight away, you've got, from the big chair, the editorial page, this time done by Tony Mott, who was the editor for this issue. Again, I would have loved to spoke to Tony. Sadly, that didn't happen, but it's a new editor for this one-off special, and the idea of this issue is to talk a little bit about the magazine, but also talk about the games on the Snes Mini and review them. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one, but just while I'm flicking to what I want to discuss, you got things like, a little bit about SuperPlay magazine and its history. You've got things like Fan Hunter with the fanzines, including Hyperplay RPG fanzine done by our friend Kinkle, who we've had on the show as well. And also you got Bitmap Books, Sam's company, who again we've had on the show, giving away a couple of prizes and everything like that. And his Snes Super Famicom book gets a very brief mention, and you got the Super Famicom art book as well as a prize and chance to win Will's signed art and everything like that. But you've got some of the original staff writers back, so Jason Brooks, Zion Nicholson, again, who were both on the episode that we put out last year. So for me, it's absolutely amazing seeing that. It was such a big deal because the thing is, the writing on SuperPlay back then was absolutely fantastic. You had some really, really talented writers, compared to like a lot of, how games journalism is now. I know it's got its critics with sometimes, it's just throw an article together, you might get paid for it, you might not. But back then, I've said so many times before, back in the 80s and 90s, these were like household names if you're into games magazines. So it's great to see some of those return. And then you've also got like Damien McFerrin from Nintendo Life, again, being on the show last year. And he's, done some work as well for this one-off issue of SuperPlay. So some really, really good well-known names there. Chris Schilling as well. So, God, the list goes on. So you've got they've got these ex-SuperPlay writers, but also some really, really good industry writers, that have got the experience of working on so many different magazines, websites, things like that, built up quite a CV, really. And it's great to see these new faces mixed in, with the old. But anyway, You've also got an interview, I'm not going to go into it too much, with the creator of Star Fox 2. Now, Star Fox 2 is obviously the Dylan Cuthbert. Star Fox 2 is on the Snes Mini, something I'm looking forward to playing, because I know you can get the ROM, but I've been told that the game on the Snes Mini is slightly different. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see that. We've also got Anime World in there as well, something that SuperPlay was well known for. So even though this magazine is only 52 pages, you know, it's not like quite as thick as the original run of SuperPlay. Bearing in mind, even towards the end, it was down to like 84 pages, so you know it's about 2/3 of the size, and it's still got the main features that make SuperPlay SuperPlay. So you know the design as well. So again, you've got just like some amazing people who've worked on this to keep it as fans would expect, really. You know, so what I just want to have a quick look at really is this. You've got the each game reviewed that's on the SNES Mini, and you've got the original SuperPlay score, and then you've also got the re-review of it. So this is why I just want to bring that part to light, really. Now, this was mentioned on Facebook yesterday, because someone was talking about Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and that's been re-reviewed. It used to get like 90-odd%, now it's down to 70-odd, a bit like Donkey Kong Country is there. So bear in mind, this is like 20-odd years on for some of these games. So, you know, some have dated, some other games haven't really moved at all, things like Zelda, Mario World and things like that. And some people are quite upset, you know, that they have scored the games. You know, it's like, well, you've got to think of like what it was at that time. Well, in a way, but the thing is, as our podcast covers new and old, we always think, well, games evolve and progress. So I have this conversation a lot with Phil. So he always goes, well, how can you say that something like Manic Miner is as good as Uncharted 4? Hang on, that's ridiculous. How can you say that Manic Miner is as good as I was trying to think of quite a recent platformer. You know, we'll say Mario 64 for argument's sake, even though I hate that game. But they're totally different, you know, because of how games have progressed and everything. So when you play something like Donkey Kong Country now, it doesn't look quite as amazing as it did, you know, back in 1994. Well, when I say doesn't look, you know, the graphics are so nice and everything, but you know, you can see the faults slightly more because games have evolved. So I personally am a fan of these games being re-reviewed and re-scored. One thing that I am very, very happy about is the fact that there's no new SuperPlay Top 100. It's something that I did worry a little bit about. I say a little bit, quite a lot really. I've just got to show it. Secret of Mana, you know, nice big review there. They were big fans of this game, you know, back in the day, anything, you know, RPG wise. But again, that's still like, it's a funny one because the score's been put down, right? But the thing is, it's someone's opinion, right? So this is just a bit of debate corner, really. Someone's opinion. So even though something like Street Fighter 2 has gone down from 96% to 78%, if you still like it, for all I care, you know, and what the writer cares, you know, it's more like still give it 90-odd% yourself. You know, it's just someone's opinion, because whoever's reviewed that is different to the original reviewer back in the day. So obviously things have changed. Street Fighter 2 Turbo is a great one-on-one fighting game. I personally give it more than 78%, because I don't really like how fighting games have gone. I think they're a bit too combo heavy, too fast and things like that. But again, that's just my opinion there. So anyway, moving on. The other thing that I do quite like, I'm not going to show this bit to camera because I don't want to give away any spoilers, as to put it. They have covered, again, this bit's, I'm sure it's done by Damien McFerrin. The Japanese version of the SNES Mini has got a few different games on it that aren't on the UK one or the American one, so it's like small quick reviews of them as well, which I think is quite a nice touch, you know, just to show the differences as well. And then there's another feature of What Cart. Now, What Cart was obviously the A to Z at the back of the magazine, and they've given it a bit of a theme this time, talking about which games they wished or feel like should be on the SNES Mini. You know, like, oh, well, how can Nintendo forget about this one or that one? And one thing that I do like is the fact a couple of these big games, such as, I'll give them one away, but like Terranigma, was never reviewed by SuperPlay, so it's great to see, you know, a few words about that game and what they think. And then right at the end, you've got the return of Nico Jr. So it's a nice like little send off there for, well, the SuperPlay mascot really. Now, again, I can never see another issue of SuperPlay coming out. I think it's really the perfect swan song, you know, just to end that magazine now. It's been an amazing year to go from doing the podcast, interviewing so many heroes from last September, to getting me grubby mitts on a brand new issue. You know, I'm almost 38, and, you know, the day that came through the post, I felt like a teenager again, you know, thinking back, getting SuperPlay on the way to school, you know, like those first few issues, the early issues where it's the first Thursday of every month. And yeah, that's basically what happened yesterday, first Thursday of the month, you know, new SuperPlay. So there we go, issue 48, a nice even number to end it on. I know obviously you got Super A Gold as well, but it's just nice to say issue 48, October 2017 on the cover. Again, a massive thank you to everyone, you know, that's worked on this and brought it to actual print. Fantastic to see. I know that Julian's a massive fan. Aaron, new to the team, making our YouTube videos look a lot better, so you will see more of his work as well. I know he's a massive fan of him. You've obviously got Kinkle from Hyperplay that we just mentioned as well. So it's a massive deal to just a few people there, and like I say, seeing all the love on Facebook and Twitter, and you just see how big a deal, you know, this magazine was back in the 90s. Although now people will be going, can we have a N64 magazine or Mean Machines and things like that? So who knows now? It's one of those, ooh, anything can be possible, you know, if you just hope. But yeah, that's all from me. As said, a massive thank you again to Lee at Sore Thumb Games for helping us out with our Type 3. And that's everything. Okay, keep listening to the show. There will be a new episode out, hopefully, by this time next week. Obviously, been away for a few days and just had other bits going on. So yeah, the next one, looking at a few favourite PS2 games. Recorded that with Chris about a week ago now. So yeah, time to get cracking on the editing and see what we can do. And obviously, we've also got Play Manchester coming up middle of October, so that's only for say 14th 15th of October, so yeah, only about another 4 weeks for that as well. Okay, thanks a lot guys, I'll see you soon, bye.